One.
Wahoo!
One.
What?
One.
Wait, am I supposed to hit it every time you say one? Because you said one three times now. Now 4 times. Wait,
It's only been 3.
do I
I
hit
think
the-
you're wrong.
Do I hit the button when you start to say one, or like at the end of one? Because that was a really elongated one,
Why
and now I'm
don't you
confused.
hit the button right when I say one each time, and every time I say one?
Hello, everybody.
Oh my god. Just stop.
I
Stop trying to
annoyed
make
you
it a
already?
thing.
What thing?
We're not making it a thing.
It's my thing.
All right, well, fair. Well, hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back to Soul of a Gamer podcast.
Yes.
Here we are. I'm Scott,
And I'm Steven.
and every week we tell you about a game we played, and we review it. So there you go. We hope you enjoyed last week's game, which was...
That was Psychonauts 2, correct?
Yep, Psychonauts
Yeah.
2. That's the quickest he's ever gotten.
I know. I'm so proud of myself.
Mm-hmm. So Psychonauts 2, we really enjoyed that game. That was probably one of our favorites so far.
Yes, it's really great.
But this week we're going a little different. In
Yeah.
kind of a same direction, but kind of a different alleyway, I guess.
Alleyway is a
'Cause
good.
it's kind of like it's like a pseudo platformer of sorts, but not really.
Yeah, ish. And it's
action-adventure
it's
game, maybe?
adventure. And I wouldn't necessarily say action. There's tiny spurts of action, more
Yeah. So
adventure
I don't know.
puzzle.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But we're playing Stray.
Yes.
cat
PlayStation exclusive.
simulator.
It was on PlayStation 4 and 5.
Yes. Before we jump into that, let's do some housekeeping here, guys. As we said last episode, our website is up now, soulofagamerpodcast.com. If you want to go there and just check out the website, you can learn more about us. You can also add a game onto our future game list
Yes.
if you so desire. And that would really help us out because then we wouldn't have to think of games. We already had one suggestion on there, so it's always good.
Yeah.
What else? Oh yeah, email us. Send us an email. Like just chat with us, ask us questions, shit like that. soulofagamerpodcast@gmail.com.
Soul of a Gamer Podcast on TikTok and Instagram as well. Look for us everywhere.
And on Facebook.
Yes.
So look for us all over the place. But
Find
with that
us.
all said,
Chat with us.
yeah.
Do it. Now.
With that all said, let's just jump right into this. Let's go. Hit
Okay.
that button. Hit the button.
This
Hit
one.
the button.
What's on the box?
Well, I hit a button. Whether it's the right button or not is time.
I don't know if I like this new Steven.
Okay, so the
Steven
back
recently
of the box.
got hair plugs.
hair plugs. What? Why are you telling
And-
people that?
And he's basically just calling himself new Steven. He's bald, guys. He doesn't want to accept that he's bald.
I'm not bald.
And he's just trying like all these weird things. He's like wearing animals on top of his head, and hair plugs was the most recent one. And he's going around like flashing his hair, but it's not good hair plugs. He got one hair plug because they're so expensive.
Dude, I looked like Shaggy for like a whole week, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, so you see what we're dealing with right now is new Steven, and new Steven is a new problem.
New problem for some.
Yeah, for most, for almost all.
Why am I a problem? It's not my
Just
fault.
kidding,
I'm bald.
guy. He doesn't have fucking hair plugs. I don't think anyone. Not a lot of people get hair plugs, and the ones that do are really insecure about their hair.
True. I just
right.
accepted it.
Right?
I'm bald.
Eventually, I'll go bald, and I'll just accept it as well.
Then you'll start wearing beanies and hats more often like I do. Because
Maybe,
you're
I
cold
don't know.
otherwise.
I don't know. All right, well, let's just jump right into the back of the box.
Box for this, kind of a little lackluster, gonna be honest. Especially the back of the box. The front of the box isn't too bad. It's like showing the cat wearing its backpack and like a very neon sign kind of lit area. It's kind of cool. But the back of the box really, really, really lackluster. And has one sentence on here: lost, alone, and separated from family. A stray cat must entangle an ancient mystery to escape a long-forgotten cyber city and find their way home.
Honestly, I would have been happy if they just said lost, alone, and whatever the third thing was.
Separated from family.
Yeah, I think that would be the best way to, because I think them doing more actually really hurt it.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you
Maybe
a little
maybe
bit
this
of insight into what the game is, like, or
Yeah,
at
but
least
I
like the
mean,
landscape of the game. But
So I didn't read anything about this game before I played it, so I had no idea like the setting or the plot or anything.
yeah,
So I kind of would have just preferred if they kept it up in the air of what you're going to do, because my immediate thought of this game is like, oh, you're probably just trying to get back home, like Homeward Bound or something.
oh my god,
And
a
it was
Homeward
not
Bound game
that
would be
at
awesome.
all. But it wasn't that at all. Like, it's just completely different. So if they would have taken out that last little bit of that,
Yeah,
I think Lost, Alone, Separated from Family is a great way to introduce the game, because that's basically what you are. And there's not so
Ooh.
much plot in this game. You really have to say much more.
and honestly, that really works with the like 3 pictures on the right side of the back of the box, because they've got it in like 3 different sections of like green, blue, and red, and you could do
Yeah.
one word in each one of those: lost, alone, separated.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good idea for them. But you know what?
That's
If
cool.
they wanted to do this whole weird thing, then whatever.
Yeah, I mean, not terrible, but also like not the greatest. But I don't know what else you would necessarily do besides shortening it, like Scott said, making it more ambiguous.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, this box, I love the picture in the front. I will say that.
Yes, it's awesome. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool just seeing it with the backpack on. And I like how the robot's not in the front picture, too, because he plays a big part in the game, but he's not the biggest part of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for
So,
sure.
so yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a mediocre. It's mediocre box, so
Yeah, fair.
move on.
Are we jamming?
So, we jamming.
Background music in this game is good, but let's start this out. Sorry, get my stuff back up here.
Yeah.
With the cast and crew, and guess what?
What?
There is no cast.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's all like computer sounds. I think they must have
Okay.
made them,
Like AI voices.
yeah, something of that nature. Because it's not even real English. It's like all this fake language, or it sounds like
Yeah.
robot language or something like that. So I'm pretty sure they didn't do any real cast for that. Just because when I looked it up, I couldn't find anyone.
Okay.
The composer is Jan van der Kruisen. Jan van der Kruisen.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I will say there's some of the music, especially the music like you give to the guy to play the guitar. Like some of that was pretty good, and some of it was pretty enjoyable. Other parts of it were kind of like, why is this here?
Oh, I didn't even talk to the guitar guy. I tried to find him. I'm like, it says he's behind the elevator. I don't see him anywhere.
He was like before the elevator, like on one of the sides, just like on the ground floor of that first city.
I don't remember
Before you
if
leave it.
I don't remember if I talked to somebody there saying he was behind the elevator.
Yeah, probably.
But I was like, I don't know what that means because there's no behind the elevator. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's not a very good clue.
No.
Jen had played it before, and she was like, I was like, where is this guy? And she's like, oh, he's right there. And she showed me where it was. So
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah,
cheated.
if I would have
to find
explored
him,
a little bit more, but it's fine. Yeah, music in this game really did fit well. I did like the music a lot.
Yeah.
Background noises are good. There's points where this music just hypes up and you feel like you should be terrified, but you're
Yes.
also playing as a cat, and the cat wouldn't be scared at that moment just because a giant eyeball is looking at it.
I mean, that was a little weird and never
Yeah,
fully
it's weird
explained.
and it's scary
I was
for
like,
humans
whoa.
because they understand that that's not natural. But for a cat, it's like, okay, well, it's a fucking eye on the wall. I don't know. Everything has eyes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Besides that, though, there's a few other things with music in the game. Like you have to find a cassette to put into a boombox at one point.
yeah,
That song's okay.
it was. I'll talk about it in story actually. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, there's this, and the music was not good. That it was. I'm guessing that was an original song of sorts,
Yeah.
that cassette. And it was so loud,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh my god, I get why it's so loud because you have to like distract this guy with this, but still, my god, it's so fucking loud.
Do I have to blast out my
Jesus.
eardrums?
Yeah, like I had to turn down my shit on my end.
Oh,
It was so
God.
fucking loud. It was crazy how loud that was.
Yeah, I think I turned
And it
it
was
down as well.
so bad. So
it is pretty
bad.
bad. like I said, some of the songs that you get the guy to play on guitar, some of those are really cool. Besides that, there's not anything else that I like really bring to attention to anything.
Yeah.
It was
Alright,
fun,
well-
like sitting and by that guitar guy though, and just like because you could like sit on a pillow or like sit like near him and like rub on his legs while he's playing the guitar. So it's kind of like cute little scenarios where I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. But besides that, yeah, there was no reason to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just move on to our next segment.
How does it play?
All right. Oh, this is a cat simulator to the
Yeah.
extreme.
So, like, movement in this game. Firstly, this game is made by developer Blue 12 Studios.
Yes.
They have literally made nothing else, as far as I could tell, that was like big.
Okay.
I think Stray was either their only game or the only one that I recognized.
It is a very indie game, so I think it's a very
Yeah.
small independent studio. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Movement in this game, you know, you're a cat. You're just normal movement for everyone. Just move forward, side, back. You don't jump, which I was kind of didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I wish like it instead of like a press to jump in certain areas thing, you could actually just jump.
Yeah, it's an event jump, guys. So you
Yeah.
only jump when the event allows you to jump. So when you get to the edge of something, you can jump down, but you don't actually like control where you jump, which would have made I don't know. The game felt a little stale because you couldn't jump.
Yeah.
You know,
Granted, I
it's
feel
just-
like scaling some of the buildings might be hard with an actual style of jump, but
yeah.
like for an independent studio, I'm sure this was way easier to do, and that's why it was done this way.
I'm sure. I just still you miss the jump as you're going
Yeah,
through that game. for
100%.
sure. After a while, you don't notice it too much, but still, it's always
Yeah.
in the back of your mind. Like, I really want a jump button. A lot of parkour action in this game, I would say.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of things, climbing buildings. You're jumping across gaps. You're like, this is just a cat's life if a cat was a parkour guy on a roof in Italy. So
True. Which I will say, playing this on the PS5, especially with the haptic feedback controllers, is really fun because like you can knead in this game or scratch at windows or doors or like knead carpets or scratch chairs or whatever, and you can actually like feel the scratches when you're doing it with the haptic feedback controller. It's kind of fun. It's a neat little interactive thing that I was like, that's that's cool.
yeah, I played this on PC, not on fucking PlayStation, because the haptic feedback bullshit is bullshit. So no. Yeah, I mean, this game does not host a lot of gameplay, guys. This game was like 4 hours long, I think.
Yeah.
Max. Maybe
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Not very long. Not a lot of gameplay. You can scratch. That's the only thing I can think of.
You can meow.
interact with your environment. Oh yeah, you can meow.
Yep. It's
Most
kind
of
of
the
like
time it's useless, but every once in a while it's fun.
it's kind of like I think it was the 50 Cent game that you could just press a button to cuss, or one of
Did he?
the. It was either the 50 Cent game or it was one of the like Mafia games or Godfather games. There was just a cuss button. But in this case, it's a meow button.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's good. That's good. That's a good button to put in. Every game should have a cuss button.
It's a fun button to have, to be completely
Cuss
honest.
button in every game, guys. Put it in every single game. Every PC game, you don't have an excuse. You have an entire fucking keyboard to use for your button.
True.
Put a cuss button in
True. Fair.
there. Yeah, I can't think of any other gameplay aspects in this. I mean,
There's a couple like puzzle things, but that's all just dealing with all the things that we said. There's
Yeah,
some
so it's not
interactive
like-
talking to robots in this game.
yeah, you don't really talk yourself. You have like
Yeah.
a guided robot that talks for you, but we'll get more into that into story.
And then you get a weapon at one point.
Yeah, very, very
Very
briefly.
brief, yeah.
But really nothing. It's just an action button. You have an action button. Yeah, like I said, there's not much to this game.
Yeah.
Again, the puzzles are all just involved with jumping or finding the best way to do this,
or collecting
like
an
there's-
item, or searching
Yeah, it's
for an
not-
item with a code
Yeah, it's
on
not
it.
real puzzles. It's not like Alice Madness Returns puzzles where they
Yeah.
actually had like little mini games you basically did. It's
Yeah.
nothing like that. So more of just in the movement category of puzzles.
More, yeah. Just if you spend any time at all in the level, you'll figure it out. Like it's
Yeah.
no actual mental thought that has to go into anything.
For sure. All right, well, let's just move on.
It's time for reviews.
I pressed the wrong button. So we're doing story first, because, yeah.
Steven, I can fix everything in post.
Well, then... it's time for reviews.
I'm just going to take that all out. All of it.
That's probably for the best, you know. Yeah, you know. Let's just do that, because that
right.
sounds like fun. So, yes, like always, in honor of my great and amazing name for myself that Scott has given me, Little Bitch Boy, I present you with negative reviews so we can decide if their compliments are valid or if they are also a little bitch boy.
Little bitch boy! Wubba dubba
Alright.
dub dub!
So, 1-star review. Trying my best now to get a refund on Xbox. Boy, is this game absolutely terrible in everything from being a bloody cat, boring gameplay of jumping and meowing everywhere. The story, I gather so far, has been terrible, with you finding your lost friends and trying to discover what happened to all the humans. I'm speechless how this game got so many positive reviews. It's a dumpster fire. I just hope I can get a refund.
Did you say Xbox?
Yeah, it's on Xbox now.
Oh, it is? When I looked it up, it said only PlayStation and computer.
That's when it launched. It was that way. It came out a year later on Xbox.
I'm surprised they didn't update that on the platforms online. Weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, that guy, why would you ask for a refund? You take that risk every time you buy a game.
Yeah, I don't like the whole refund thing. Like, if you didn't read reviews first or you didn't know what you were getting into and you just hate everything about it, like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, and watch gameplay then. If you're one of those gamers who,
yeah,
I guess, can't deal with shit, then watch gameplay before you play the fucking game.
true.
Then you'll know if you like it.
I
Listen
mean,
to this fucking podcast before you play the fucking game. Then you'll know you'll like it.
100%. That's a very good point.
Yeah,
we'll tell you whether
dumbass.
it's worth it or not.
Little bitch boy.
Little bitch boy. Alright. Another 1-star review. This game is very good. You play as a cat and the graphics are very good. The lighting in the game is so good that I cried. And also when Stray fell into the city, sad face. What a strong cat. I cried for so long that puddles formed, my house was flooded. I almost drowned. But just a few seconds later, I saw a cat was fine, and then my TV stopped working, so I did not play any longer. So I cried some more because I could not learn what happened to the cat anymore. I also cried because the Prince of Nigeria took my money. When I told him my bank info, he wanted me to buy more V-Bucks for him. Anyways, now that everything in my house was ruined, I have no more money. Now I am a hobo living on the streets of Los Angeles. I can't even glamp anymore. I just have camp, like weirdo, and in the wilderness of Los Angeles. He goes on for longer, but I just was like...
I don't understand anything he just said. I get, like, he cried because the cat, it was sad.
Yeah,
But
got injured and he cried, and then he cried so hard he drowned his house, and then lost all of his money, and was stupid and gave money to the Prince of Nigeria and bought some in V-Bucks, and then is a hobo in Los Angeles, apparently.
I like how it sounded like you said homo, and so you cannot say that.
I
Steven.
slurred my words because I
know you meant to say hobo, but this is really funny.
That was bad.
Everyone listening is just sitting there like, oh God, what has he done? What door has he opened?
Something might have become legalized in Ohio, and I partaked in it, and it was a little fun.
Oh, okay.
And I'm slurring my words a little bit. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know how to rate that review. Is that a 5-star review?
It's a 1-star review, but like
What?
I just thought it was so stupid. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Why is he giving a game a 1-star review?
And then saying how amazing
Like,
it
for
is in
fake.
every way.
No, it's because it's fake. Like, don't give it a 1-star review if it's fake. That's like a bitch move. Little bitch boy.
Little bitch boy.
That's so sad. That poor game. That game doesn't deserve that 1-star review.
It doesn't. All right. One more actual review. I'm genuinely upset I spent money on it. Everyone praises it so highly, and it literally seems to consist of walking around following button prompts. That's it. You can scratch stuff, knock things over, sip water. There's robots, but I literally can't bring myself to care about who they are or why they are relevant. You walk around with no map or direction, run from enemies without any dodge or combat, and have no health or status bars, even though you can die. And half the button prompts along the way are useless, idle animations meant to maximize its runtime. Feels like the game should have been a comic or a novel because it's a terribly boring game. Maybe it's just not for me, I don't know, but considering it was up for Game of the Year, against Ragnarok, I'm severely let down. I'd recommend Ragnarok over this 100%. In fact, I'm sure I wouldn't recommend Stray at all.
Was Stray really up against Ragnarok?
It was. It was up for...
Ragnarok win?
It did. Ragnarok did win.
Okay, good, because Stray did not earn that at all.
Yeah, it was up for Game of the Year, though. It was.
All right, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's really accurate for what we did in there, but that's fine. I agree with him. He had a lot of good points there.
Yeah, he did.
He's actually saying, like, yeah, this is kind of boring. I got bored here. Here are some examples of boring stuff that I did. And, he didn't, like, fuck around and say, fucking cried tears and puddles of joy and sadness and
gave money to a prince in Nigeria.
LA, in the concrete jungle, currently swinging vine to vine just like Tarzan.
Yep.
None of those things.
But yeah, no, he literally just said everything that the game has to offer and just said it wasn't for him. And was surprised at why it was up for Game of the Year, which it sounds like you are too, so...
I am very surprised.
All right, and then I got one good review, because it's always fun to end it with a little sweetness.
Is it a woman or a guy?
Let's see. It says Brayden. I can't tell.
That's a guy. It's
probably.
a guy.
Most likely.
Let's hear what this guy has to say.
All right. Absolute masterpiece of a video game. This is much...
All right. Stop. Just stop. No. Like, that's how you would describe one of the highest rated games.
Just wait till he compares it to.
Wait
till he wait to see what he compares it to.
That's crazy.
This has just as much of an impact as playing through The Last of Us for the first time, or The Walking Dead season 1.
No, fuck you. No. No.
I knew that would bother you.
God, no. Yeah, because it's like not true. Like, how many times have you cried during The Last of Us? You know,
several.
How many times did you, like, at the end of fucking Walking Dead when you're just like
several.
in tears, because fucking Clementine is just going to be walking the world alone now. Like, that is fucked to say that.
Yes.
And this cat was fine the whole fucking game. Fuck you.
Seriously, no. This is nowhere near the amount of impact, especially emotional impact, as either of those games in any way, shape, or form. For sure.
There's no scene where the cat gets held down and almost raped in it. Yeah, no.
Yes.
Go fuck yourself.
Seriously. As dark as that is true.
It's emotionally impactful, is what it
is.
You're sitting there like, oh, I cannot let this fucking happen. It's like when we played Beyond Two Souls. And you had that option to get out of the bar, and we both said, like, oh my God, we should have left the fucking bar, because now we just feel like dickheads for staying in there and giving her that bad memory.
Yeah, we traumatized this girl thinking we might actually get to hang out with friends.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, no, fuck you, dude. You're an asshole. Keep going.
Okay.
Finish up the fucking review.
The whole concept is very unique and special, and although it seems vague from its marketing, it really provides a superb storyline with character growth and socializing to proceed forward a rewarding experience. The gameplay itself favors the people who enjoy exploring and stopping and soaking in the most amazing visuals. I played on PS4 Pro with a 10-year-old TV, and it still looked incredible. The ending got me teary-eyed, either good or bad, I won't spoil, but it's that good. Kudos to everyone who made it a seriously rare gem that will be the holy grail of indie, campaign-based games for many years to come. They really understand cats, too. Someone is an animal lover on the development team. If you own a cat, this game will make you laugh.
I have never known a cat to use a robot to talk to a person. So I don't know if they really understand cats.
No, they just use people to talk for them.
Okay. I mean, it's not little bitch boy territory.
No.
It's just I question their taste in video games is all.
Like, don't get me wrong, as someone who is a cat owner, they do nail the cat things pretty well, and it is adorable at times, and it is a decent story, but it is
nowhere near Last of Us or... Okay, how about this? In 10 years, we see if they make a Stray TV show. If they don't, well, I guess it's nowhere near Last of Us, is it?
Oh my God. You brought that into the universe, so if it happens, it's your fault.
Yep.
Calling it right here. I'll yell at Scott if a Stray TV show happens.
Right, maybe they get better with the second game. Who knows?
Maybe.
All right, well, let's go. Let's move on.
It's story time. Let's get started.
All right, time for the story.
Yeah, story time. Yeah.
Like
was
I
prepared.
I didn't mess anything
Yeah.
up, and you have to fix something. Let's.
This story is surprisingly long for how short the game is.
Yes.
So just bear with. It's only 2 pages, so I guess it's not that long. But
Oh, okay.
and we're gonna. This is not like the entire. Again, it's just a synopsis of the story, guys. We'll talk about more when we're actually in normal mode.
Yes.
But here we go.
Whoa.
Stray. 4 cats awaken in a pipe during a
Aw.
rainstorm. You play as one of the cats and learn controls while awaiting the end of the storm. Soon after the storm ends, the cats leave in order to get food and water, I assume. You follow best you can, but eventually a pipe you jump on breaks and you fall deep within the cement structure that you were just exploring. You awaken sometime later and begin exploring. There seems to be someone helping lead you to somewhere they want you to be. Eventually, this mysterious being leads you to a lab where it tries to instruct you on how to free it from the server it is trapped in on a computer. You help the being get downloaded to a little robot, and it tells you that it is B12 and artificial intelligence. B12 can't remember who they were, but does know that their old scientist friend really wanted to see the outside. B12 assumes that you came from the outside and dreams that it must be safe enough to leave the confines of the city that you are in. The city is built within the concrete structure, and the AI robots have been trapped there for what might have been hundreds of years. You and B12 leave on your journey to get back outside and learn several things. Firstly, before humans all died out, they created a bacteria that could eat all of the garbage that has been building up since the closing of the wall. These bacteria soon evolved into larger beings known as the Zerks and started eating anything they saw.
Or the flood.
They are a consistent threat to all of robot kind. You make it to the lower city and begin searching for someone who can help you start traveling toward the mid-city. You find Momo, who had some friends make it out, and he asks you to help him find a way to go out. You search his friends' old apartments and find a way to fix a transmitter in order to contact them. You contact the friends and confirm they are alive and they had to go through the sewers. The sewers are dangerous, so you get a weapon from a robot called Doc and head through. The sewers are full of Zerks, and eventually you get separated from Momo. I wrote Doc, but it's definitely Momo.
It's Momo.
Eventually, you make it out and find yourself near Mid-City. In Mid-City, you find the robot friend of Momo, Clementine. Clem tells you that you need to get a battery from a nearby warehouse in order to activate the railway station to reach the upper levels. You get the battery and you find that Clem has been captured by an informant who helped you. The informant captures you as well and hands you over to the sentries. The sentries are law keepers. You break Clem and B12 out of prison and head to the subway. Clem stays behind in order to distract the sentries so you can get away. You escape, make it to the upper levels where you find the control room in order to open the walls. You and B12 open the walls, but it's too tough on B12's tiny little body, so he dies. You lay with him for a while and then leave to make it back into the real world. The game ends with the screen near the exit flicker and activates.
Yay!
Yay! So it's not like a long story. There's not much
No.
nuance to that either. Like there will be some extra things we'll talk about here, but there's really not much more than that.
Yeah. It's very. I mean, the levels are kind of semi-open, but they're not a lot to go around.
Yeah.
Even if you want to explore, like I think my wife almost got 100% of everything on this game, and it only took her like 6 hours, six and a half
Yeah.
hours.
What I saw online was 10 hours for 100%. So it's
yeah.
probably for your average gamer or something.
Yeah.
So this game, first off, the AI in this game, I guess, and I didn't talk about this in the story. I don't think I didn't mention it. So the robot you're helping, B12, is actually once a human.
Yes.
He transferred his consciousness into a server, and then for hundreds of years he stayed there.
Yep.
And I assume it's a he. I don't actually know. I tried to avoid saying he or she. It's just easier to define the robots by their namesakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scientists apparently downloaded his brain onto a server, stayed there for hundreds of years. It was like using the cameras to watch for people to help him, but all the humans are dead at this point. But then sees the cat and says, "Oh, I mean, I
Maybe."
guess it's the
Yeah.
only living thing I've seen, so I guess let's try this cat."
Which I'm surprised that the cat did follow everything so well. I mean, you were
Yeah, like
controlling
that-
it, but like,
yeah, but still, it's like, why would a cat do any of this shit?
Like, cats follow audio more than visuals unless it's like a laser pointer. I don't know if just some neon lights would make a cat go through an entire route.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I will say I was confused. So what I had thought at first was because we get that little tidbit of information that humans can download their consciousness into robots.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, so all the AI underground are humans. So all the robots, right?
I almost thought that, and it's like, I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious if that's true.
It's not. So what's the weird part about this is you go up, and you even think that still because when you go up to the upper levels, there's robots up there that are not evolved. They're not like AI intelligent. But when you look up information online, everyone seems to agree that the robots just eventually got intelligence.
Yeah, which I do remember
Like-
seeing something to that effect.
But that doesn't make as much sense because then why didn't the robots in the upper level gain intelligence?
They weren't forced to as much, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like they had a good idea with the human aspect, downloading your consciousness into these fucking robots, whatever, because they already did that once. And you saw those pods everywhere.
Yeah.
So you all know, like, it almost makes more sense that they probably downloaded their consciousness, but maybe everyone's theory is just wrong about these companion robots, that they evolved into higher beings or something.
Well, and
And what's even weirder is because they do human things. Like, it's not like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like they gained their intelligence and then started doing things that only robots would do. They start making bars and drinking and then going and smoking and stuff like that. And you're like, you can't do any of this because you don't have any lungs. You don't have any fucking intestines. Like, they act drunk when they drink something. I don't know how the fuck they're drinking it, but
I know that was so
their
weird.
head is just a television screen.
Yeah.
But I think that it makes more sense to me that these robots were once humans, and I think that's what it was. And I think people online are just wrong.
Yeah, I
Unless-
mean, unless they like gained consciousness after all the humans left, like,
And then just started doing everything humans do, even though they don't have lungs.
yeah, because I mean, like, that's a similar story to what people say what happened with like the Cars universe. Is it happened like after Wall-E and all the humans left, and they just kind of like souls went into the vehicles.
You literally cannot use a fictional movie to explain a game.
I'm just saying that's what a lot of people probably same storyline, kind of like, oh, they just adapted soul-like things, or souls went into them,
maybe.
or they rose extra consciousness after they realized like humans were the things that made life different. I don't know.
I don't even know what to say to you anymore.
I've watched too many movies and shit.
Yeah, but in this game specifically, they did give an out for it. They gave this whole
Yeah.
instance of a human going into a robot body. So, I mean, it's possible. They have that in the game. It's already
True.
built into their universe. So, I don't know. That's the one thing that I was just like, why the fuck would they even, like, make it so these evolved rather than humans, like, download themselves in them? And then again, how does this... Why would they evolve to do the exact same things a human did? Why wouldn't they, like, branch out? And why couldn't they escape? And why are they so afraid of dying if they're, like...
True.
robots that don't even feel pain? Like, I guess I got so confused half the time, like what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, there's sometimes in stories where I don't like it when they give us too much story or too much background on every little thing, but there's no background, like, on anything. There's no background on the cat, there's no background on these robots, there's no background on the human, really. And we don't really know what happened at all with anything. It's just a game going through an experience. But there is no real, like
you
clinching
don't know why,
story.
The humans were locked into all these cities because they even said during the story, I think this is like city 112 or something like that.
Something like
they gave a number. So clearly they locked all the humans in these cities, and they said it was because the outside was dangerous. So I'm guessing like some kind of catastrophic event happened outside.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just concrete though, so I don't fucking...
Well, and then even when they were saying, like, the lower levels had a lot of trash, and then they made the bacteria to eat the trash, but then the trash started eating everything and all organisms. I'm like, so did that take out the world?
And well, you know what's funny about that, too, is that they create this thing, and they're like, hey, can eat metal, and then you go around and you see them in metal cages, and you're like,
yeah.
it's like a wireframe cage. Why don't they just, if they can eat metal, why don't they eat their way out? They too stupid? I'm so confused.
I don't know.
And like, there's still metal stuff all around them too, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Do they actually eat metal?
Because why would they be searching for me so much if they could eat anything?
Yeah, that's like this game almost felt like what it should have been is like de-evolved humans instead of robots.
Maybe.
Like barely living on the fringes of society, and then also instead of Zerks, just have them be rats that ate flesh, because that would make more sense for their surroundings.
Fair.
And it wouldn't be as scary, mind you, but I mean, it's just make more sense.
We'll find out if that's scary enough. On our list later on, we're going to do a Plague Tale, and that's all about rats, kind of Zerg-like doing things. So
it's just, I don't know. This game really, a lot of lackluster stuff, because I really would have loved to flesh out that story, like you said, a little bit more. Get a little bit outside perspective of what happened on the outside, but really you don't learn anything. You don't learn what happened to the humans. You don't. Your whole goal is just to open up the roof, and I'm like, what the fuck use is that to open up the roof?
Yeah, and it doesn't even really show you outside at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious, like, what the world is like what's beyond this.
Well, and you did start this game outside, but it was like right outside there, and there was. Well, and that's the weirdest part, right? Because right outside there was just a bunch of concrete with a little bit of water and no fucking plant life.
Yeah.
And then you open the door and there's like a jungle outside, and you're like, where
is
the fuck was
this?
this when we started the game? I'm so confused.
I mean, it's a giant roof, so maybe we just were on a different side or something.
Yeah,
but-
maybe.
Like that city seemed huge for as little
Yeah.
of the area and like the game there was. Like, if they did make a sequel, like, or redid the game or something, like, expand the city. Like, I'd almost want that more, like a DLC. Just expand the story, expand the city.
Yeah, and I still don't like. I know I've said it multiple times, but I really don't like the way the robots just did everything humans did.
Yeah, they dress
It's
like
they
us,
took
they
humans
dance
and
like us.
reskinned them.
Yeah,
It's just silly. I don't know. They could have done better there.
true.
Couple cool parts about this. We talked about the guitar guy. There's a guy you can give sheet music to that you find throughout the first part of this game.
Oh yeah, I found some of the titles that I really enjoyed too.
Nice. Yeah, and if you give him a sheet music, he'll play the song.
Yep.
So let's hear it.
One of them was The Way You Compute Tonight.
Okay.
I just thought that was
So
kind of
the
fun.
way you look tonight.
Yep. I mean, the one that we talked about with the cassette, that one's just called Loud Music.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad I got that. I got the nature of the music right away.
One's Ballad of a Lonely Robot. One's Critical Systems. So, like, a lot of them had, like, very, like, technical names.
I'm
Safe
sure they're real
Mode,
songs.
Cool Down. Let's see, what was some of the other ones? Step on My
What?
Shard. I don't even know.
What in the robot butt?
Yes, Critical
nice.
Systems. But yeah, and then there was like a couple like untitleable ones or unreadable ones, but I just thought like The Way You Compute Tonight was a fun one.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess let's talk a little bit about B12, his story. So
Yeah.
B12 was a scientist human. Apparently, he was really upset with the way the tiers of the city were separated, because you had the lower tier for the poor, the mid tier for the middle class, and the upper tier for the rich.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get outside because I'm sure at that point, this is hundreds of years after that point. And I'm sure at that point it must have been hundreds of years after the city closed.
I have no idea. There's no timeline.
Yeah, but that kind of makes sense, because otherwise he would have. If he was old, it seemed like he was old when he transferred his consciousness. At least that's what they kind of.
I mean, it seemed like he was old, yeah.
Yeah, but
like,
he could have been young. I guess he could have been 20. I don't fucking know.
We have no idea. There's no timeline, no
yeah.
ages, no nothing.
Yeah, but whatever he was, it seems like he spent his whole life in there because he'd never seen the outside.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
it had to be at least however old he was. And he transferred his consciousness so he could have the hopes of seeing the outside. So I'm guessing he was close to
Yes.
death when he did that.
I'm guessing so too, because I mean, I know
Yeah.
that he talked about like he knew that I think his wife and daughter were dead.
Yeah. So then he transfers his consciousness and you find him and he downloads into this B12 unit. But I was like, he didn't prepare that much. What he should have done is probably transfer his consciousness, but before he did that, build a big robot that he can
Yes.
transfer into so he can handle getting to the top by himself.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't he do that? I'm so confused.
Yeah, it seems weird that he'd do like this tiny little drone.
I don't
that,
think he did that. I think he just
True.
didn't prepare at all. I think he just had that in his storage. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Fair.
I don't know. It just seemed really weird, but he transfers himself, and then you get to know him fairly well. Like, he's the cat's one companion. And the cat and him, like, get along a lot. The cat saves him when you guys get arrested in that prison. There's no real bad guy in this, by the way, guys. The Zerks hold the bad guy role for the first part of the game, and the Sentries hold the bad guy role for the second part of the game.
Which I will say that jail level is probably my favorite of the levels.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a breakout level. It's really cool. But you like grow this attachment with them, but you only know each other for like what seems like a few hours.
Yeah, it's not a long time at all.
No. So then you go up to the upper levels, and he has to sacrifice his life, and then you just lay with him. And I'm like, well, I guess that kind of makes sense, but I feel like a cat just wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't know, like...
It's not like he pet him or anything. There's no physical touch between the robot and this fucking cat.
True.
There's no communication for sure.
Like, I wonder if, like, because when he died, like, because his consciousness was in the robot, but if they're saying, like, some sort of semblance of a soul, like, the cat felt like he wasn't there anymore and laid down next to his body, because there is stories and stuff of cats laying next to their deceased owners and stuff.
Yeah, owners. Again, it just felt like a couple hours, but we don't really know how much time went by.
Yeah.
The cat also... Okay, so I kind of alluded to this part earlier. This is my favorite part of the game. You're in the sewers, and these Zerks have, like, merged into the fucking walls.
This was so weird.
It's so weird and it's so creepy, but then I thought about it. I'm like, but I'm a cat. I wouldn't give a shit about this wall.
I'd probably scratch at that eyeball.
Yeah, like, there's literally giant eyeballs sticking out of the wall.
It's very Cthulhu hysteria, kind of, like, madness. Yeah.
It wasn't exactly scary, though. Like,
no, but it was just, like, eerie and weird. And you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Like, during this part, what I would have preferred they did was drop, like, a whole shit ton of those Zerks. But they would just drop like 10 at a time or something, and that would be very infrequent. And I'd be like, "What? Why aren't we doing it?"
Well, I'm kind of glad they did that, because if they did too much at once, like that weapon,
you would have died.
Yeah, that weapon's so limited on how long you can have it up.
But if they did like a bunch of them and they turned this into a really scary chase sequence, I would have preferred that. Because the chase sequence you end up doing with that is just like, they're on your left. Okay, some are now on your right. It's like, it's only 10 at a time, though. It's really easy to avoid. And it's just not... There's nothing threatening about it, but with a whole shit ton right behind you, oh my god, I would have been scared shitless.
Some of those chase sequences are okay. Some of them were like very lackluster and super easy.
Yeah, they have chase sequences in this game. And this is where jumping is important, because you have to kind of follow a path that allows you to do the things you need to do, and then you die, because it's really unforgiving. If you make it near the end, you're right back at the beginning if you die.
Yeah.
It's the same when you're like in the prison. That was kind of annoying in the prison, because you could be all the way at the end trying to grab the robot and then fuck up one thing, a sentry sees you, kills you, then you're back at the beginning again.
Speaking of that, I had the worst time. I actually made it all the way to the end and was like jumping over the gate to jump onto the vehicle that was moving. Like, we opened the door and everything, and right as I jumped down off of that gate to be able to jump onto the vehicle, I got shot in the ass and died. And I was like, are you fucking kidding? And I had to do that entire thing. Yes.
See, and that's silly. They should have put more checkpoints in there.
I was like, why?
I mean, overall, the story of this game is really lackluster. They could have done better. Like, this game has a lot of cool bare bones to it. I think it could have been really cool.
Yeah.
A little bit more forethought. But I think this sets up a cool sequel. So I'm really hoping they do a sequel and they do it much better.
Agreed. It's one of those games for sure that I know, like, because it was a small studio and, like, visually and the things that they did really well. I just think there's so much more to be desired and offered.
For sure. There's a whole history they can flesh out now, which is cool. They set themselves up well, and maybe that's why they just got the game released. It's just setting themselves up to get some more investors, because now the game's like, game of the year. Fuck, hell yeah, it's a game of the year, right?
Right.
Now they have a lot of clout to get investors in, so they can actually build the game they want to.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet the sequel is going to be 100 times better.
Well, and it was very different, very unique. Like, we don't have very many games like this, and especially a game in the perspective of an animal that can barely do anything. Like, they went with it, and they stuck to it, and they did decent.
Yeah, if they would have put my cat in that game, it would have laid down and been like, fuck this.
It would have killed everything, for sure. Like, it would have been way more of an action game. Yeah.
But Yeah, this game. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the story, but I guess we'll just. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any other
No,
levels?
there's not really. Like
I
I
will say
said, like
the animations and the vibrant colors are amazing. In
oh
this game.
yeah, like seriously, the visuals in this game are what this game is for.
Yeah.
100%.
This is, but to me, this is every PlayStation game looks like this, and every
Yes.
time I'm like, it looks beautiful, but it's every single one of their games. Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Kinda, you lose that that flair after a little while.
It's true. You know, it's a valid point.
So-
I will say, like, yeah, like I think the jail level is by far just the most fun. I think like a little bit of the stealth with a little bit of like running away from those like Sentry drones are fun as hell sometimes, especially if
Oh.
you could find like a little box to hide in. Because then you have like
You're
one
like,
time I
"You'll
had
never
7
find me in my
drones
box."
like following me, and then they were all standing over to the box, and like none of them could find me, and I had to wait so long for them all to finally scatter because I had
Yeah.
that many on me, but it was kind of fun.
I
Like, I was
guess
like,
it all makes sense because these robots have never seen a living thing before.
yeah.
At least as they've been like advanced. So
Well,
maybe that makes sense of why they.
So
can
I also
find it.
think it was a kind of a play on Schrodinger's box and the Schrodinger's
Oh, I
cat,
think so too.
because is the cat in there? Is it dead or alive? Like,
Is it dead or alive?
like
Both.
I loved that actually. I thought it was fun.
A couple things in the story really fast. Sorry that I forgot to go
Oh,
over.
How dare you?
A little bit of side things. You can like collect energy drinks and such to trade this barter in the first city.
Oh, yeah.
You have to like, you have to. Like,
It's very Legend of Zelda with like go
Yeah.
get this and then go get this and then go get this to unlock this
Yeah.
item so you can go forward.
yes, and that's kind of like the way it works. There's one part in this game that I kept doing this just because I didn't know where to go. So I'm like, okay, well, let's just go and start talking to people. This one guy's like, if they drop one more thing of paint, I
Oh.
swear to God. I'm like, it sounds like I need to make them drop paint. So you
Yep.
go up there and you make them drop paint. And you get this thing that you apparently needed for the story. And I'm like, God damn, I didn't even know I needed this for story. Like,
Yeah, they
And then
really
I
make you find things out.
yeah. And then you go to the next area and you're like, I collected the cassette because I went to the apartment, and then he's like, hey, you want to take care of these cameras for me? I'm like, I guess. I had no idea the cassette was important to the story.
Yeah.
Literally no clue. I just did the camera thing because I'm like, all right, well, I guess it seems like maybe an extra thing again. Maybe I can grab something extra here. And then you step on all of them, and then he gives you the cassette, and it's like, it turns out that's very important to the story. It's the only thing that moved you forward.
Yeah, I found the guy who said that you needed to find the clothes first, and then I went into that shop, and then I was like, oh, you need something to distract him. And then I heard him complaining about kids being loud, so I was like, oh, it's probably the loud kids in the apartment area.
Yeah.
So then I went back and... So I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's very inventive of how it kind of pushes you to things
Yeah.
without, like, hand-holding or giving you an actual, like, objective guide or, like, a journal in the game to tell you what to do.
Yeah, I'd agree to that. One thing that I thought was really funny, there's a side quest in there, or not a side quest, but yeah, kind of like a side quest that for the story. You have to grab like a worker's hat,
Yes.
and it's really funny because they're stalking this building, and you get into one of the boxes that they're stalking, and it's just an empty box,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Wait, they're just bringing empty boxes into the building? I'm so confused right now. So are they like just following like human things as if?
I don't even know.
I wonder if anyone actually buys anything from the shops too, or if it's just there because humans had it at one point.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Kind of curious.
just very, very weird. Like you said, there's a lot of things in the game that you're just like, it's very interesting, and you've got us intrigued, but tell us about it. Like, give us something.
Yeah.
Like
I
I'm
said, I
here.
think they
I'm
set up
listening.
really
What are you
well.
saying?
They set up really well for a second game. So I'm hoping they
100%.
really do one. All right. Well, I think that's it for story for me.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go.
Worth or not?
So how you feeling? Game of the year?
Not game of the year. I think this game was a really weird choice. I don't think there's enough in this game to really like push a game of the year. I just think visually it's so pretty that's probably what pushed it forward.
Oh, 100%.
But again, like Last of Us is pretty too, and that came out 12 years ago or something, or 10 years ago. So it's just,
yeah.
I don't quite understand why it's Game of the Year. I also don't know what I'm gonna give it. Like I don't want to say nah because I think this game was fun enough just to keep it going. I guess Worth would be my best bet.
Yeah.
Just it's like it's kind of worth the play, but it's also not really worth a buy to me.
For me, I think it really depends on if you're interested in what we've said, or if you're interested in playing as a cat. Like, if you really love cats, this is the game for you. 100%. If you are adamant, like a huge cat lover, you are going to love this game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I guarantee you, the biggest cat lovers are. This is your game.
Yeah, I just think, I don't know. It's a weird game because, like we've been saying this whole time, I think they just set up for number 2.
Yeah.
But you know how much we hate that. Like, I'd rather have it to where they get it right the first time every time, but I understand that's not realistic.
Yeah, and there's some games that do really good in the first one, and some games perfect it by the second one. I mean, we've seen that tons of times. We saw that with Max Payne. Like, that was so much better.
But I mean, and also there's games like Elder Scrolls out there where I've never played the first fucking Elder Scrolls.
True.
I don't think anyone's played the first 2. I think everyone started on 3.
I started on 5.
Yeah, so but most people who like were into Elder Scrolls when it was popular are like, well, yeah, Morrowind is the best one, and then Oblivion was really good, and Skyrim was really good, and the next one's probably going to be really good, but I don't know what the fuck 1 and 2 did.
I've only played, what was it, Knife and Dagger was one of them or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only ever played Skyrim, so yeah, I have no idea.
No, Knife and Dagger is the phone game, I think.
Oh, I don't remember, but
I don't remember, but I don't think.
But yeah,
it's. Maybe Knife and Dagger is the second one. I don't know.
I do think this game is worth for sure. As well, like I definitely think it's gonna depend on what kind of gamer you are or what you have. I do think playing it on PlayStation 5 is probably the best way to play this game if you are gonna play it.
I mean, I played it on PC. It was fine too.
Yeah, and I mean it's not just the extra little tiny things that the PS5 does for the game is kind of fun.
Oh yeah, the bullshit haptic bullshit.
Yeah, I love it,
Yeah,
dude.
no.
Dude, it's got me hooked. I'm digging it. I'm digging it a lot. It's stupid.
Gotta use
but
this to swipe right, real quick.
it's just a little extra. It's a little extra pizzazz. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. And fucking that one game we played that I hated.
Which
I love the game, but I hated that fucking control. What's it called? It's the one where you had to stand still and you couldn't move the controller.
Oh god. Oh, why am I drawing a blank on it? Until
Yeah,
Dawn.
me too. Until Dawn. Yeah, that fucking game. Oh god, I fucking hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Hated that little.
Well, that's motion controls. Yeah.
Yeah, but that comes with that haptic bullshit.
The haptic feedback on the triggers is what I'm talking about, and that's only PlayStation 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Haptic feedback on the triggers.
Yeah. So it's dynamic.
Explain.
The amount of pressure when you pull the trigger. So like when you're playing any game that has a bow and arrow, you actually feel the weight like increase. You feel the tension increase as you're pulling the trigger down.
Interesting.
So you can do like half tension and half fires on different things. And so like when you're playing in this game with as a cat, like when you're using the triggers to scratch, you can actually like feel the depth of how much you're digging in the claws, the tension of the claws going in with the tension changing.
Stupid.
It's dynamic. It's really interesting. I know really it sounds dumb, and I was one of those people really that I thought it sounded dumb too, and I was like, that's not a selling point for me. But then I started playing with it, and I'm like, this is kind of cool, especially like Spider-Man, like using the webs, the different tensions of the webs and stuff. Like that's fucking sweet, dude. It's so cool.
It'd be cool if they had a game where you play as a kid. I know this is a tangent, guys. Just give us a second.
Yeah.
Give us a second, guys. Let's tangent.
Where does that
begin? Like a shooting game?
Yeah.
You play as a kid.
Oh, God. I don't know where this is going.
And you shoot like a gun, and you can tell like that it takes them. It's harder for them to pull
the
trigger.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right? And
that would be interesting.
Adult. Like, yeah, that'd be an interesting like little difference. Like, if they would have had that in The Last of Us.
Well, and like there's some
it could have been really hard for what's her face to pull the trigger.
Ellie.
Yeah. And then for Joel, it would have been super easy because he's been doing it for years.
Maybe they do that with the remastered. I don't know. I'll have to check it out when I get it. One of the cool things in the Spider-Man 2 game, they actually, with Miles' electricity powers, you actually have to stabilize things at different levels, and you have to hold the tension of the controllers at different levels. So it actually like fully builds that into like puzzles in the game. It's really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe it'll be the new future for gaming. Who knows?
I think so.
On the outside looking in, it sounds stupid, but whatever.
I said the same thing. I'm
outside looking in.
Yep. Fair.
So,
fair.
yeah, guys, thanks for listening. That's our
Yes.
reviews.
Next
Hope you
week,
enjoyed this episode. Next week's episode is...
Duke Nukem Forever.
We decided to punish ourselves because we've been playing too many good games so
Yes.
far. So
We
Duke
had to throw a
Nukem
shitty
Forever.
one, and I heard this is the shittiest of shitty. So
Yep. Yep.
Let's
This is
go.
They're coming out for Duke Nukem to come back into the mainstream, and they fucked it all up, and we're going to hear about
flopped
that next
hard. Yeah.
time. Yay.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Love you. Wow. He didn't say no.
When you're home.